I want to try to make sense of health for people, because the subject of health has gone so far out that most people have no idea what to do for themselves, because different studies say this is good for you and different studies say that's for you and whatever. Well, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and right now, I've already put out videos and stuff saying that there is no virus, the Bologna virus. Well, I'm saying that because in the same way that may seem like I'm contradicting myself, there's a virus out there, and there's always been viruses out there. But the virus is not the killer. The stress and the fear is the killer. Yes, there's an environmentally different thing out there that some people are dying from and some people aren't. It's not the be-all, end-all of anything. It's the people that are freaking out and worrying. We know that there are people helping treat them. We know there are people who have had it and get right over it. We know that there are people who have had it and not even known. So that right there should show you that it's not the thing itself, it's the person, it's the individual. So we need to understand is that your mind and your health, which have a lot to do with each other, both have everything to do with getting sick and dying from a virus. Like, okay, when we go back and we try to say something about, say, earlier conscious beings, let's say cavemen, okay, how did they evolve without worrying about getting sick? Well, at one point they were almost too dumb to think about it until natural things would kill them. They'd fall off something, they'd crush something, they'd hurt themselves so bad that the pain, like they wouldn't understand the words of it, but the pain of a cut or the pain of some thing they got themselves into would let them think they were dying or, not going to make it or those kind of things. Like we create things as we go. It's really hard to put things into a time sense when everything is now. So I totally can explain why, and it's not about being able to explain it, but these are words. But why I tangent so much is because sometimes in order to make sense of what I'm saying in one thing, I have to explain it from a total different point in time. See, when I talk about health, I'm knowing what I mean from an aspect of different races, different eras, different beings, different ways of healing. It's all thought. It's all mind over matter. Like everything is so much more mind over matter than we ever thought. Like when people say mind is everything, it sounds like you're like, oh, sure, sure, sure. But it is. Everything operates off of an intelligence. There's nothing that is just there by chance. Nothing is just by chance. Everything ended up there somehow through a process of evolution or through a process of evolving to one point and then just remaining there or being unmutated or untransmuted or just left alone to be. So the same thing happens inside your body. Your body is continuously updating every day, every day, every day, every moment even. But when you're watching something, and every person, every individual is their own world. It sounds hard to explain, but once you get it from a spiritual level, you'll never not understand it, no matter what's going on in the world. Billions of people can be freaking out over a so-called pandemic, but you realize that each one of those billions of people in their own individual representation of their individual world is allowing the thought of a virus in. So it doesn't matter that billions of people say it. If you're the 1 billion and 1th person and you truly just don't believe, you see all the people around you saying they're dying of a virus and you're like, well, this is because they're sick and their bodies can't handle it. And you just don't just believe the hype. Like right now, there are people who just don't want to wear masks and people who don't want to do this and don't want to do that because they just think it's a bunch of hype. Well, it is overhyped. Yes, there is an idea and there is viruses out there and there is a way that you can get yourself sick and stressed out to the point where you have horrible effects or die from it. But it really isn't anything different than it's always been. It's just now the people in control know how to use that to their advantage. Don't think this is the only time this is ever going to happen. You know, this is just the beginning of new things that are able to be done with messing with people's minds, because people aren't very in control of their mind. And now that it's mainstream about spirituality and mind over matter and consciousness, it's not like the government doesn't know. Come on. So they're trying to use that to their advantage and manipulate people who have weak minds. Very easy to understand if you really think about it. That's why the people announcing all these bulletins and telling you to do all these things aren't wearing masks, because they know that yes, there is something out there, but they understand it and are totally fine because they believe better. And then they don't have to worry about if they believe it or not, because they know how it started. So when you already are in the know, you don't have to worry about if you believe it or not. You already know. It's there. So they aren't worried. That's why they're not wearing masks. And it's not like they're against us. It's just the way that their lives led them to the position they're in, and that's where they are. And they can't tell the truth, because then they would reveal their spot, and they're inside the game of whatever business they're in. The political business is a business too, man. They're in their game, and they can't reveal the secrets, because just like any job, you got a boss, and you and your coworker keep a secret. Well, no matter how high you go, we're all people. We're all living. We all have moments where we're not in the public eye, and we're doing things that we need to be people of integrity in order to really be trustworthy. But a lot of people don't have that. When some people aren't watching, they're doing some dirty stuff. Some of them are even doing dirty stuff when people are watching. So your health really has to do with everything. Everything to do with, actually, the way you're thinking. And once you truly understand it, not just hear it as words, you truly understand it, you won't be worried about you getting sick from a virus. You won't. Even if there's 100 people around you sneezing and coughing and body parts falling off from leprosy or the Ebola virus, you won't get it, because you understand it is mind over matter. Some things might be harder. If you saw people with body parts and you knew that if it touched you, it could eat away at you like acid on a physical surface. So that's a little different. You'd have to have a really strong mind to do that. And I don't even know how to do that kind of stuff when it comes to physical things like getting stabbed or shot or fire and bending things with your mind. And I don't want to do that, because that's not going to help other people. That's just going to scare some and make other people think I'm a freak. And why would I even want to worry about doing that when my purpose is to help people, not to awe people? Because it's not about being entertained. It's about being inner contained. So that way you can understand what it all is. All right? Peace.